Behold the Greatsword, the weapon that perfectly symbolizes the over-the-top extravagant weaponry that the hunters wield in the colossal world of Monster Hunter. For the better part of the series, the Greatsword was the poster child that was shown prominently on the box art alongside that game's flagship monster. With its story beginning in the very first Monster Hunter, this legacy weapon has allured players with its simple yet extremely deep playstyle that, unlike the nimble dance of the dual blades or the swift elegance of the longsword, ensures that each swing will be a devastating, earth-shattering blow. Here is the long-awaited update to the original video that will catch us all up since the last time I chronicled how this weapon grew throughout the generations. From Monster Hunter 1 on the PlayStation 2 to the latest Sunbreak expansion that just recently released on next-gen consoles, let's see how this sword became so great. In the first generation, the Greatsword only had 4 attacks. These moves were mapped to the second analog stick. This vertical slash is the Greatsword's strongest move in the game, at the cost of being really slow. Moving the analog stick upwards will have the hunter bring the sword up high and slash in front of them. This move provides good reach for tail cutting. Going from the strongest move to the weakest one with the horizontal slash. This move will slash in front of the hunter in an arc. Pretty useful for taking care of any smaller monsters trying to gang up on you. Both of these moves mentioned will move the hunter forward slightly. Bringing the sword in a skyward arc, the upswing is the final part to the Greatsword's main combo. During this move, you can move slightly to the left or right to reposition the next vertical slice. Note that the upswing can fling other hunters into the air if you are not careful. While not exclusive to the Greatsword, the kick is a move that the hunters can perform with the weapon out or when sheathed. While not intended for damage, the kick is a quick method of saving fellow hunters from sleep or being stunned. Pressing and holding R1 will hold out the Greatsword in a defensive stance. This is not a great shield, but the Greatsword can block roars and weak attacks with ease, at the cost of sharpness and stamina. Stronger attacks will result in recoil that will shove the hunter back and take a bit of chip damage. In emergencies, the hunter can unsheath directly into a block. Rolling is a very important factor that applies to all 14 weapons, but the Greatsword's much more sluggish nature requires the hunter to roll out to get out of the weapon's ending animations, in order to reposition or avoid getting hit. Those with a keen eye have most likely noticed that some of the designs of the Greatsword in the first generation look very similar. These katana-like weapons are indeed very similar in style to a new weapon class that was introduced in 2DOS, the longsword. With how the longsword changed drastically in the series, it is interesting to see a time where these two weapons shared the same identity. The second generation introduced a trademark ability for the Greatsword, the charge attack. With this addition, the playstyle of the Greatsword changed. Instead of waving the weapon around, the ability to charge granted more experienced hunters to position themselves and predict the movements of their target to deliver crushing single blows. Pressing and holding triangle will now charge the Greatsword. As the weapon charges, the hunter will glow slightly to indicate the current charging level. Holding the button for too long, however, will overcharge the attack, which will decrease the damage by a whole level. Focus is a good quality of life skill that speeds up charging time. This can be a handy skill as it could aid with hitting more nimble monsters and can even provide extra chances to attack. The Art of Unsheath skill is a powerful armor skill that turns unsheath attacks into a guaranteed critical strike. While useful, this skill is pretty difficult to get early on in a playthrough. Monster Hunter Tri was originally going to be for the PS3, but when developing for the console proved to be too complicated and costly, Capcom shifted their plans towards the Nintendo Wii. This also granted the ability to provide a motion-based control style for the weapons. As an added bonus for those first-generation veterans, there was an extra playstyle that retrofits all the new moves to the right analog stick. While underwater, attacks are a lot more awkward as a vertical, horizontal, and upswing spin the hunter out and leave them defenseless for much longer than on land. The sword slap is the same as on land, but the kick is changed to be a side tackle. Introduced in the 3rd generation, the Strong Charge combo is a combo extension that adds an extra form of charge attacks. There are 2 ways to get into the Strong Charge. The first way is to do a regular X attack. It could be a regular slice or a charge, but then afterwards press X again. This will do a low damage slap that also does some KO damage. After the slap, holding X alongside holding the analog stick backwards will have the hunter ready up for the Strong Charge. The second way to get towards a Strong Charge swaps out the initial slice for a kick. From there, you can still do the slap and then go into the Strong Charge. Just like the regular charge attack, the Strong Charge can be overcharged if you're not careful. Punish Draw alters unsheath attacks to have impact damage. While not a crucial skill, having the ability to exhaust and then knock out monsters with proper positioning can prove useful. Quick Sheath is a great quality of life skill that also has great synergy with crit and Punish Draw. Having these skills allows for the slam and go playstyle to be a lot more mobile. The 4th generation of Monster Hunter introduced everyone's favorite mechanic, ledges and mounting monsters. Aside from getting mounting strikes, the Greatsword did not receive too much else. When in midair, pressing the X button would do a mounting strike, and once on the ground, pressing A would do a level 2 strong swipe. If these 2 attacks connect, that is about as strong as a level 3 strong charge, just without the need to actually go through the combo. The strong charge receives a combo finisher. Just simply press A after the strong charge to do a powerful swipe. The damage is dependent on the strong charge's level, but just be careful as the downtime after the attack is pretty high. The armor skill critical draw got changed to not always give the 100% critical chance for all weapons. If the weapon has negative affinity, it gets subtracted from the 100. Aside from the ability to equip 2 Hunter Hearts, guild style is largely unchanged from 4 Ultimate. Striker style is more similar to how things were in Freedom Unite. There is no strong charge and by extension, no strong charge finisher. This style benefits by not having the drawbacks of overcharging. Aerial style removes the ability to charge a greatsword while on the ground. The unsheath attack is changed to a quick jumping slash that does a mounting strike. When vaulting on a monster, the hunter can charge a greatsword mid-air and finish the attack on the ground with a slash. Because the charge is executed so quickly, the damage of these slashes are much lower than any other style. But this also opens the door for status-afflicting weapons due to the spammy nature of the style. Adept style provides the Adept evade with a successful dodge. The hunter can run while holding the X button to charge an attack. This dash cannot be overcharged and can actually move the hunter a decent distance from the original attack. Attacking after the dash goes into the strong charge, which otherwise is locked away from normal combos. Valor style removes the ability to charge any attacks outside of Valor mode. Tapping Y and then pressing X will have the hunter charge a greatsword. Landing this attack fills up the Valor gauge a decent bit, with a level 3 charge essentially almost filling it up halfway. While in Valor mode, an unsheath attack will ready a strong charge. This attack has inbuilt focus, but this can be stacked with the armor skill. This attack is also immune to overcharging. When unsheathed, the normal X attack is now a strong charge. While charging, pressing A will send the hunter forward in the analog stick's direction for a crushing blow. This style also benefits by having a very quick dash that gets you out of the ending animation much faster. Alchemy style, like Striker, removes the ability to do a strong charge. It also restricts the upswing out of combos, but after a swing forward, pressing A twice will combo into the uncharged strong swing. The hunter scrapes a greatsword on the ground before rushing forward and unleashing a big shockwave. Getting both the initial swing and the shockwave to hit your target will dish out massive damage. Just be mindful of other hunters in front of you while using this. With a bloodthirsty swing forward, the hunter powers up their next attack. The next unsheath attack won't be held back, so prepare to lay destruction on your turn. The hunter readies their blade, building up power with great fury. When ready, they release a ground-splitting slash in the direction you choose. If you get attacked while using this art, you will absorb the hit, and your attack will be increased by 50% at all levels. With a quick hop, the hunter swings their sword forward with all their strength. This is an excellent method for hitting airborne enemies, even if it is a bit awkward to line up sometimes. Sheath Sharpen is a pretty handy sounding skill, as it does give a 35% chance to recover an amount of sharpness when sheathing a weapon. However, the amount of sharpness recovered is dependent on the weapon type. The gun lance and charge blade both recover about 16 units of sharpness, while the greatsword recovers about 4 when the skill activates. Outside of the ability to kick while alive and hunters that decide to AFK at base after feigning once, there is no way to kick in World. The only weapon that still has a kick is the greatsword, which is still done by pressing triangle while guarding. The 5th generation introduced a much easier to see and feel Q for when you are at the highest level of charge, so you know for sure when you've overcharged a weapon. You can also move ever so slightly while charging. When charging an attack, pressing circle will do a side tackle. While appearing to be the same kind of tackle seen in Tri's underwater combat, the tackle was changed to be both an offensive and defensive move. It can brute force attacks similar to the Lance's forward shield advance, and it could also move up towards the next charge attack. The amount of damage a tackle does is not that much, but it is dependent on a previous charge level. You can also roll into a tackle, and during a tackle you are protected from all sides. Pressing circle again after a tackle will do a forward cleave. Its damage is also dependent on their charge level, but also keep in mind that these attacks are also affected by the drawbacks of overcharging. The true strong charge is an immensely strong attack that takes a good amount of preparation to get towards. After the strong charge sweep, pressing and holding triangle alongside the analog stick backwards will have the hunter hold the greatsword back, readying for the strong charge. This attack does 2 hits, where the second attack is the important one you want to land. Just be mindful not to overcharge this attack. Getting to this point naturally is a very time-consuming process that makes this a tough move to execute in most circumstances, so that is why using the side tackle is very crucial. You could pretty much tackle to cancel out the current charge and move on to the next stage. Since there is no stage higher than a true strong charge, tackling here can be used as a defensive measure or to stall out for a bit more time. You can even swap out the initial slash with the guard kick combo to get to the true strong slash faster. While sliding, holding triangle will charge a greatsword. Letting go will have the hunter jump up with the sword, dealing damage during the jump, and then pressing triangle again while mid-air will have the greatsword stab downwards, hitting multiple times on the way down. This attack cannot be overcharged, and the stab is dependent on the slide's charge level. The mounting strike got changed to resemble Generation's aerial style. Holding triangle while mid-air will charge a greatsword, like how it was in Gen. This move is unaffected by overcharging. This move also has good synergy with the glider mantle. With the very favorite addition of the clutch claw, the greatsword now has the ability to do a tenderizing slice when attached to a monster. Firing the slinger after an attack will send out a burst of whatever is loaded. This shot has a high chance of staggering a monster. Pressing triangle after this blast will move straight into the true strong charge. This is a powered up version of the strong charge that takes very little time to set up. Frostcraft is a new armor set bonus activated with Volcana Divinity. At level 3 it gives up to a 30% boost in damage when it's fully charged. Frostcraft also has pretty good synergy with Critical Draw and Quick Sheath. Just keep in mind that only the first couple of attacks will get the 30% bonus, as each extra hit lowers the bonus. In the previous Monster Hunter titles, one key factor of the greatsword was positioning. Not only with lining up the move to predict where the monster was going to sway to land a crippling blow to a weak spot, but where exactly that hit was going to match with the blade. Hitting a body part with the tip of the greatsword was generally going to do less damage compared to landing a blow with the core of the blade. Monster Hunter Rise tosses all of that out of the window, so while timing is still a key factor to the greatsword, positioning has become a lot more forgiving. The use of wire bugs greatly elevates the otherwise clumsy weapon. Using this in conjunction with wall running, the greatsword now has a lot more options when it comes to dropping in with a devastating charge attack. Swapping out the tackle for a guard tackle changes the tackle to include the greatsword's guard into the mix. While much slower and cumbersome, this move provides the added benefit of a stronger guard that leads into the strongest charge equipped. The only drawbacks of this swap is that the guard only guards what is in front of the hunter. Exchanging the true charge slash for the rage slash is effectively giving up a good chunk of damage for the benefit of flexibility. During the rage slash charge, a hunter is given super armor, and if they are hit during the rage slash, they are given a damage boost. The super armor only applies when the hunter is charging up the slash, not while executing it. During the charge up animation, the hunter can reorientate the attack to whatever direction the analog stick is facing. By pressing Z, R, and X, the hunter gets flung into the air. If the hunter manages to hit a monster during that launch, they will kick off the target and can either press and hold X to charge an aerial attack, or they could press ZR again to plunge their sword downward into the monster. By landing the kick, the aerial attack gets buffed, so this is marginally stronger than just doing a wire bug into the air and doing a charge attack. Doing the plunge attack allows you to continue attacking on the ground, with the usual set of combos. Animate Charge Slash sends the hunter forward in the direction the analog stick is facing. During the dash and charge attack, the hunter is granted super armor and has the same logic as Rage Slash. This is a useful move that allows the hunter to reposition into the strong charge. Pressing Z, R, and A will have the hunter zip forward and sheath their weapon. This is a great mobility move that provides a 10% buff after using it. The hunter's armor will glow as the buff is active. Going from base Rise to Sunbreak, the greatsword lost the ability to launch hunters with the Rising Slash. Hunting Edge's cost was reduced to a single wire bug, and while on the ground, the player can go into the strong charge after an aerial attack. By using the plunging thrust, you could go into a strong charge as well, but depending on the charge level, the charge speed can also be increased by a good margin. Using a scroll swap provides a fast means of getting out of the ending animations, and with using certain skill swaps can aid with being much more evasive or ready to parry an attack. Backslide does what the name suggests and slides onto your back a decent bit. This maneuver provides a good amount of iframes and allows for a counterattack afterward that contributes to a wyvern ride. This move can be used to continue the current charge level and can even move it up one. Holding the X button during a backslide will increase the level of the charge, but be careful as you can easily overcharge by going from a level 3 charge to the next charge type. So instead of holding X, tap it. Doing a true charge slash using a backslide does the animation faster than doing it conventionally. The Surge Slash effectively turns a greatsword into a combo-based weapon, like how it was in the first generation. The triangle input does a falling slash attack. Circle does a vortex slash, and triangle plus circle does the rising slash. You can mix and match each attack as desired, and you can even move slightly in between each attack. The order in which you attack will determine which level that attack will be, as the first attack will always be level 1 and the third level 3. Each slash also has its own purpose. The falling slash is great for raw damage, the vortex slash is great for element, and the rising slash has an extra modifier towards part breaking. Falling Slash's first attack also does a small leap forward that locks you out of a tackle. The third attack also has two different forms. The weaker one is just done by pressing triangle 3 times in quick succession. If you combo into the Falling Slash 3, the hunter will do an extra little step before smashing the sword into the ground. You can also do this if you give your hunter a bit of time between Falling Slash 2 and 3. Doing this gives you just a tiny bit of an extra damage boost. Vortex Slash 2 does a little bit of KO damage, and Vortex Slash 3 provides hyper armor. Chaining any 3 attacks will lead into the special Strong Charge Slash that charges about 50% faster than a conventional one. After this attack, you can press triangle and circle to return to the Rising Slash 2 and resume doing your combos. Strong Arm Stance replaces Hunting Edge and Animate Charge and is a new counter introduced in Sunbreak, pressing R2 and triangle bringing the sword out front, and for a short window the hunter will counter the first attack to touch the blade. This can be done with the weapon out or during a charge. While this cannot be done in the middle of an attack, the counter stance can be activated as a means to cancel out an end animation. Since it is seen as a block by the game, any skills that activate because of the block will activate. As a bonus, even though the hunter is using the greatsword as a counter, there is no sharpness loss when this switch skill is used. While this move can counter a big variety of moves, it can only block what is in front of the blade, so moves like Grabus's Poison or Heat Cloud will go straight through it. After a parry, the hunter is given hyper armor during the recovery. To skip this, you can just hold the triangle button. The state in which you are attacking also affects the counter attack. If you're in a neutral stance, the counter will just be a level 3 charge slash surge slash. If you counter during a charge attack, the counter will then turn into a true strong slash. On top of that, the counters are given a damage multiplier, with the Surge and regular charge slashes getting a 25% bump, the Rage Slash getting 30%, and the True Strong Slash getting a whopping 35% bonus. The Backslide also preserves this bonus. Charge Master increases the damage dealt when charging attacks. At level 3, this gives about a 50% bonus in elemental and status damage. This can be useful for those building elemental and status greatsword builds. The greatsword has shown that it is the flagship of the series for a reason. It has stood the test of time as a fantastical showing of how ridiculous it looks holding a sword that could double as a giant's carving knife. The second generation introduced a charge mechanic that was built upon and nearly perfected in World and now has a branching pathways in both Generation Ultimate and Sunbreak that calls back to how it was in the first and second generations. No matter the generation it is in, this weapon is bound to attract attention for its size and deliver countless amounts of satisfaction as you see the numbers fly by with each crushing blow. Until the next episode.